Have you ever wondered if there's like ancient wisdom out there hidden in texts, just waiting to guide us through modern life's trickiest challenges?
Yeah, timeless advice on navigating things like faith, wealth, knowledge, power.
It's pretty profound, isn't it, to think that some truths just, transcend time and stay incredibly relevant no matter how much the world changes around us.
Absolutely. Some things just hit home century after century.
And that's precisely what we're hoping to unravel today. Welcome, everyone, to The Deep Dive. We're exploring these fascinating ideas by diving into Surah Al-Kahf.
That's right, often known as the cave. It's the 18th chapter or surah of the Holy Quran.
It's quite a substantial chapter, 110 verses, and lots of people find themselves drawn to it. There's a tradition of reading it on Fridays, isn't there?
Yes, it holds a really unique place, and for good reason. Our mission today, really, is to unpack four powerful narratives woven throughout this surah.
Each one offering key insights, lessons that feel incredibly pertinent to our lives right now.
Almost like a roadmap for some of life's biggest tests, you could say.
And the surah itself, it sets the stage beautifully right from the very beginning. It praises God for revealing what it calls a straight book.
A guide.
Yeah, and it warns against, severe punishment for certain beliefs while giving good news, good tidings, to believers who do righteous deeds, promising them an eternal reward.
It also really emphasizes the fleeting nature of worldly stuff.
Yeah.
Adornments. And states that this earth, even with all its beauty, will eventually become barren.
It's a powerful opening. It frames everything that follows, immediately establishing this sense of deeper purpose.
It truly does. That contrast between the temporary and the eternal is right there from the start. It really sets the stage for the profound lessons to come.
So, what better way to begin our journey than with that foundational story? The Companions of the Cave, or Al-Kahf, it sort of sets the tone for everything else in the surah.
Definitely. This narrative opens with a group of young men, devout believers, and they were fleeing intense persecution for their unwavering belief in one God.
So they sought refuge in a cave, turning to God for mercy and guidance.
And what happens next is genuinely miraculous. God caused them to fall into this incredibly deep sleep. The text says he sort of covered their ears to the passage of time.
Preserving them for, it turned out to be hundreds of years.
Exactly. When you read about them waking up and thinking it was just a day.
Right. It reminds me of those times you pull an all-nighter and wake up feeling like a week passed. But imagine that on a 300-year scale. It's mind-boggling.
It really is. And the surah describes how the sun's path would shift around their cave, like never directly hitting them.
And their bodies were turned from side to side to preserve them.
Yeah, and even their dog stretched its forelegs at the entrance, like a silent guardian. The detail is so vivid, it paints this picture. If you were to see them, you'd be filled with terror and flee.
It highlights the sort of awe-inspiring nature of this divine act. What's fascinating is the reaction when they wake up. They have no clue how much time has passed, genuinely thinking, we slept for a day, maybe part of a day.
And their first concern is just getting food, pure food.
So they plan to send one of them to the city, but with strict instructions. Be incredibly discreet.
Right, because they're terrified of being discovered. They fear being stoned, or worse, forced back into their old religion.
And this wasn't just some private miracle for them, was it?
No, not at all. The chapter tells us God revealed their story to the people later on, so that generations would know his promise is true, and that the hour of judgment is inevitable.
It shifts from this, protective act for a few individuals to a universal sign for everyone.
Exactly. It becomes a lesson for all time.
There's also that intriguing detail about the debate over their exact number. Some said 3 plus the dog, others 5 plus the dog, or 7 plus the dog.
Right, and the surah just cuts through all that speculation. It advises essentially, my Lord knows their number best, only a few truly know.
It almost dismisses the need for those specifics, doesn't it? Focusing us on the bigger lesson instead.
Precisely. And then the true duration is revealed. 300 years plus 9. So 309 years in the cave.
And the surah powerfully reaffirms God's absolute knowledge of this and all hidden things. It subtly guides us away from getting bogged down in minor details.
Keeps the focus on the core message.
So when we consider the steadfastness of these young men, their unwavering conviction against incredible persecution, it offers more than just a simple history lesson.
Oh, absolutely. It makes you pause and reflect. What does that level of commitment mean in our own lives today, where maybe the persecution is more like subtle social pressures or internal doubts.
That's a crucial point. It's not just about a grand historical act. It's this profound message of divine protection and hope.
Even what seemed like the most extreme, hopeless circumstances, God provided refuge. He preserved his righteous servants.
It really pushes us to consider, how do we maintain our core beliefs when the world around us seems to threaten them, knowing that divine protection can show up in unexpected ways?
Yeah, it gives us such a unique perspective on time and God's knowledge. Time seemed totally relative to them. It completely reshaped their reality.
It deeply emphasizes that only God encompasses all knowledge, including the unseen. Our perception is just so limited.
Which also brings up that important point about our own planning, our intentions.
Right, the direct instruction in the Surah. Don't say, I will do that tomorrow, without adding, if God wills, inshallah.
And to remember God if you forget. It's a profound lesson in humility, isn't it? In all our intentions and plans, acknowledging our limits, relying on a higher power.
So, from that profound test of faith, we pivot. We move to another powerful human challenge. The seductive allure of wealth and the perils of pride.
Ah, yes, the parable of the two gardens, vividly illustrated there.
This parable presents the story of two men. One was granted these two lush gardens, just overflowing with grapes, date palms, crops.
All beautifully watered by a flowing river. It paints this picture of immense worldly success, almost idyllic.
And what does the wealthy owner do? He boasts to his companion, look at me, I have more wealth than you, more kids, more status.
He walked into his garden, basically wronging himself, the text says, believing it would never perish, even doubting the hour of judgment.
Yeah, he thought if he did return to God, he'd somehow find something even better because he's so special. It's such a stark picture of hubris.
His companion, though, offers this profound counsel. He reminds the wealthy man of God, the one who created him from dust, then a tiny drop, then fashioned him into a man.
He advises him, when you enter your garden, you should say, Mashallah, la quwwata illa billah. What God wills has occurred. There is no power except in God.
Such a simple statement, but it reflects true humility, true reliance.
And the companion even goes further. He sort of prophesies, warns him that God might send a calamity from the sky, turn the garden into barren, slippery mud.
Or its water might just sink deep into the earth, gone forever. It's a really stark, chilling warning.
And the outcome? Exactly that. The wealthy man's produce was utterly destroyed, gone.
He was left just wringing his hands, regretting his disbelief, regretting associating partners with God, and there was no one to help him against God's decree.
The chapter then powerfully reaffirms that ultimately all authority rests with God, the truth. He is the one who grants the best reward, the best outcome. So the core message here feels like a powerful warning against arrogance, materialism. It vividly highlights the danger of pride in worldly stuff, forgetting where it actually comes from.
That's the real challenge, isn't it? How often do we, maybe in smaller ways, in our own successes, forget the ultimate source of our blessings?
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it emphasizes the ephemeral nature of worldly life, how temporary it all is.
Right, the chapter compares it to rain. It causes vibrant growth. Everything looks amazing, but then it dries up, and the wind just scatters it all away.
It's a beautiful metaphor for how quickly things can change, a reminder that nothing material lasts forever.
Which leads us directly to the value of lasting deeds, the enduring good deeds.
Exactly. The surah states, wealth and children are but adornment of the worldly life, but the enduring good deeds are better in your Lord's sight for reward and better in one's hope.
It's about prioritizing what truly lasts, what has eternal value, over these fleeting earthly gains.
Yeah, it shifts your focus.
And the surah uses this narrative as a kind of springboard, transitioning into describing the day of judgment.
It depicts mountains being moved, the earth laid bare, and this record book being presented, revealing every single deed, small or large.
It even brings up the story of Iblis's disobedience, that Satan, who refused to prostrate to Adam, taking him as an enemy. It further emphasizes the consequences of arrogance, of rebellion against God's command.
Okay, so next up we have that fascinating journey, Moses and Al-Khidr. This one delves really deep into the nature of knowledge itself, doesn't it?
It really does. Moses embarks on this journey with his servant. He's determined to reach the junction of the two seas, specifically seeking a special kind of knowledge.
It's presented as a quest for understanding that goes beyond, ordinary learning.
And their journey has this curious signpost. They forget their fish.
Right. The fish they brought for food miraculously just slips away and takes its path into the sea.
When they realize what happened, they backtrack and find him, a servant of God Al-Khidr, this mysterious figure radiating divine wisdom.
Someone granted special mercy and knowledge directly from God.
So Moses, recognizing this unique wisdom, humbly asks to follow Al-Khidr. He wants to learn from the guidance he was taught.
And Al-Khidr immediately warns him. He says, basically, you won't be able to bear with me.
Because of a fundamental lack of comprehension. It's a hint right away at the profound, maybe even paradoxical nature of the lessons to come.
Moses promises patience, adding, if God wills. And Al-Khidr sets this critical condition, absolutely no questions until he provides an explanation.
This sets up the core of the story. These three perplexing incidents that test Moses' patience to its absolute limit.
Okay, incident 1, they board a boat and Al-Khidr just deliberately damages it, scuttles it, basically.
Moses naturally is like, what are you doing? You could drown everyone on board. He immediately questions it.
Al-Khidr reminds him of his promise, didn't I say you couldn't bear with me? And Moses apologizes for forgetting, acknowledging his initial impulsiveness.
Okay, then incident 2. They encounter a young boy, and Al-Khidr kills him.
Whoa, yeah. Moses is aghast, understandably. He asks how he could kill a pure soul, seemingly without any justification.
Al-Khidr again reminds him of his lack of patience. See?
Moses, truly humbled now, makes this final pledge.
Yeah.
If I question you one more time, that's it, you're justified in leaving me. It really highlights how deeply challenging this pursuit of hidden knowledge is.
It really does. Okay, third incident. They arrive at a village, ask for food, and are completely refused hospitality. They're ignored.
Right, but despite this inhospitable reception, they find a wall just about to collapse, and Al-Khidr simply fixes it, props it up.
And Moses, again, reacts very humanly. He questions why Al-Khidr didn't at least demand payment for the work, especially from such unwelcoming people. Where's the fairness in that?
At this point, Al-Khidr says, okay, this is the parting of ways between you and me, but not before explaining the hidden wisdom behind each action, as promised.
And this is where it all comes together. We see the true depth of this divine foresight.
So, the ship.
Indeed. For the ship, he explains, it belonged to poor people working at sea. And there was a tyrannical king operating behind them, seizing every sound ship by force.
So by damaging it slightly.
By damaging it, Al-Khidr made it undesirable for the king. He actually preserved the livelihood of that poor family. What looked like destruction was actually protection.
Wow. Okay. And the boy, that's the really tough one.
Yes. Al-Khidr reveals that the boy's parents were devout believers. And he, Al-Khidr, through the knowledge given by God, feared the boy would grow up to burden them with tyranny and disbelief.
So God willed to replace him.
To replace him with a purer, more merciful child for them. It's a profound, almost uncomfortable glimpse into divine foresight and a scale of justice that's just different from ours.
Absolutely. And finally, the wall.
The wall, he explains, belonged to 2 orphan boys in the city, and hidden beneath it was a treasure left by their righteous father.
So God willed for the wall to stand until they reached maturity so they could extract their treasure themselves, as a mercy from God.
And Al-Khidr emphasizes, I did not do it of my own accord, highlighting it was all a divine decree. This really challenges our assumptions about cause and effect, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. So what does this amazing, perplexing journey teach us? It profoundly reorients our perspective on what we perceive as misfortune.
Yeah, think about those moments when a setback feels like a total disaster, maybe a lost job, a failed project, a broken relationship.
Al-Khidr's actions suggest that sometimes what appears to be a loss from our limited viewpoint might actually be a divinely guided clearing, making way for something better, or protecting us from unseen dangers down the line.
That's a powerful way to frame it. It underscores the importance of patience, trust in divine wisdom.
It teaches us to trust in God's plan, even when it's incredibly difficult to comprehend, acknowledging that our human understanding is inherently limited when faced with, the vastness of divine wisdom.
Definitely.
And while it's a story about seeking knowledge, it also emphasizes the profound humility required in that pursuit. You have to be open to understanding that there's always a bigger picture.
One that you might not grasp immediately or ever fully.
It forces us to ask, how often do we judge situations based on incomplete information, without even considering the unseen wisdom that might be at play?
That's the key question, isn't it? It really makes you think.
Okay, our fourth and final narrative takes us to the story of Dhul-Qarnayn, often translated as the two-horned one.
Right, a figure of great power, but also great justice. This story really explores leadership and the responsible use of authority.
Dhul-Qarnayn was this powerful ruler whom God had established on earth. The Quran says God gave him means to all things. He had resources, capability.
And he then embarks on 3 distinct journeys that illustrate his character and the extent of his dominion.
His first journey takes him west. He traveled until he found the sun setting in what's described as a murky spring, and he encountered a people there.
God gave him the choice: punish them or treat them kindly.
And Dhul-Qarnayn declared he would punish the wrongdoers who would face further torment from God later, but reward the believers who did good. He wasn't just powerful, he was principled. He established justice.
Then he traveled east. Journey number 2. He found the sun rising on a people for whom God had provided no natural shelter from its intensity, just open plains.
This just shows his expansive reach and God's continued provision for his journeys.
His third journey led him between the 2 barriers, or 2 mountains. He reached this place where he found a people who could barely understand speech. Communication was very difficult.
And this people, they complained about Gog and Magog, Ya'juj and Ma'juj.
Yeah, these are depicted as a destructive, chaotic force mentioned in various traditions, causing corruption and chaos on Earth.
So they asked Dhul-Qarnayn, "Can you build a barrier for us? We'll pay you tribute."
But Dhul-Qarnayn refused the payment. He said, "What my lord has empowered me with is better than your tribute." But he did ask for their help, their physical strength.
Right. He said, "Help me with strength of men, and I will make between you and them a dam."
Then he instructed them, "Bring me blocks of iron." They piled them up between the mountainsides. Then he said, "Blow with bellows," until he made it like fire. And he said, "Bring me molten copper to pour over it."
It sounds like a truly ingenious feat of engineering for the time. Iron core, copper ceiling.
The result was this incredibly strong barrier, so formidable that Gog and Magog could neither scale it nor even pierce it. It stood as a testament to his strength, his wisdom, and his engineering skill.
But what really stands out to me again is Dhul-Qarnayn's profound humility right after this massive achievement.
Exactly. He attributed its construction not to his own might or genius, but he said, "This is a mercy from my Lord."
And he even predicted that it would eventually be leveled, made flat, when God's promise for its ultimate destruction comes. Even the mightiest human achievement is temporary before God's will.
So this brings us to some really vital takeaways. This story illustrates how authority can be used positively to establish justice, protect the weak, bring about good.
It's a powerful lesson in just leadership, responsible use of power. It shows that true strength lies in serving a higher purpose, not just accumulating power for its own sake.
It also shows the importance of seeking practical, proactive solutions for corruption and chaos, addressing destructive forces like Gog and Magog with ingenuity, strategic thinking, and importantly, community effort. He needed their help.
It's about building defenses, literally and figuratively, against chaos.
And crucial for anyone with power or anyone who achieves great things, it highlights humility and achievement.
Attributing success and power back to God's mercy, recognizing all power is ultimately from Him, it prevents that arrogance we saw bring down the man in the 2 gardens.
Absolutely. And finally, it reminds us again of the temporary nature of earthly creations. Even the mightiest structures, like that barrier, will eventually fall by God's decree.
It reinforces the ultimate power of the divine and pushes us to consider what truly endures beyond physical monuments or worldly power.
So these 4 narratives, though they feel distinct, they really do address these fundamental human struggles, don't they? And offer profound solutions or perspectives.
Yeah, they challenge us on how to protect our faith, handle the perils of wealth, navigate the pursuit of knowledge, and understand the responsibilities that come with power.
Bringing these profound narratives toward a close, the surah then powerfully shifts its gaze again towards the ultimate culmination, the day of judgment.
It describes the trumpet being blown, all people gathered, and hell being displayed vividly for those whose eyes were veiled from remembrance of God and whose ears couldn't hear the truth. It's a powerful image of consequence.
It then describes the greatest losers. Who are they? Those whose efforts are misguided in this worldly life, even while they think they're doing good.
But they disbelieved in God's signs and the meeting with Him, so their deeds become worthless like dust. And their recompense is hell for their disbelief and their mockery.
It's such a stark warning against self-deception, against misplaced effort, against investing everything in things that don't ultimately matter.
But then in stark contrast, the believer's reward is beautifully described.
Yes, believers who do good deeds will have the gardens of paradise, specifically Firdaus, which is considered the highest, most beautiful level, as their dwelling.
Where they will reside forever. No boredom, no leaving. It's the ultimate reward for righteousness and faith.
And then comes that truly profound statement about God's words.
Oh, yeah. Say, if the sea were ink for the words of my Lord, the sea would surely be consumed before the words of my Lord were consumed, even if we brought the like of it another sea to add thereto.
It just emphasizes the infinite nature of divine knowledge and wisdom, a boundless, inexhaustible wellspring of understanding. You can never write it all down.
It really hammers home that there's always more to learn, always more to understand, an infinite depth that we can only glimpse.
And the surah concludes by bringing everything back to the fundamental core message.
Say, I am only a man like you, to whom has been revealed that your God is one God.
So whoever would hope for the meeting with his Lord, let him do righteous work and not associate anyone in the worship of his Lord.
It brings everything back to that singular, essential truth. Tawhid, the oneness of God, and the path to ultimate success through sincere faith and good deeds.
Simple, profound, and all-encompassing.
And there you have it. You've just taken, hopefully, a really insightful deep dive into Surah Al-Kahf, a chapter just packed with parables, offering profound guidance on navigating life's trials.
Yeah, how to protect your faith, manage wealth wisely, acquire true knowledge with humility, and wield power justly.
Think about how that hidden wisdom behind seemingly harsh events like the damaged ship or the killed boy or the repaired wall, how it challenges our immediate judgments, our gut reactions.
Or how the transient nature of worldly wealth is so starkly contrasted with the enduring value of good deeds. It's a constant reminder that what we see might not be the whole picture, not by a long shot.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider how each story in Surah Al-Kahf, when you view it through the lens of God's ultimate plan, encourages us to look beyond those immediate appearances, to trust in a deeper, unseen wisdom.
Preparing us for what truly endures.
Exactly. So what might you discover by applying that perspective to your own life's apparent complexities, and how might that shift your approach to the challenges you face, big or small? Something to reflect on.